Peace, brother.
Right.
All right, all right. So, peace. Tell me your full name, my brother.
Well, my full name is Rosado, but I'm
Okay,
known
what you
simply
known for? What you know about your AKA?
Blue Boy.
Okay, okay. And why is that name so synonymous? Why is that name so, you know, well heard when it's spoken?
Well, I've been in prison for 35 years, and I was when I first came in, I was in terror in the prison. You know what I'm saying? I was in a lot of problems and a lot of how would you say a troublemaker in prison. You know?
Yeah, okay, okay. So tell me a little bit about where you were born and raised at. Where you from?
I'm from Lower East Side, Avenue D. I lived all my life. You know what I'm saying? But I traveled and seen a few places. You know what I'm saying? I came in jail for murder in the second degree and assault.
How old were you?
Huh?
How old were you when you got there? When you got to prison for this
When
particular
I
bid
came
right
to
here?
prison, I was 16 years old.
So for 15 years, 15 and a half, no, but 15 to 16 and a half years, you resided all in the Lower East Side, Manhattan?
Yeah, yeah. I was lived in Brooklyn before. I lived in Ocean Church in Brooklyn. I've been in the Bronx when I was on the run and things like that. But all my
Okay.
life, I was born and raised in Lower East Side.
Okay, okay. And who raised you?
My mom's. I was in my pops away at the time doing time. Um,
How many brothers and sisters you got?
I got four brothers,
4 brothers, no sisters?
no sisters.
What's the makeup of that family? Like you the youngest, oldest?
I'm the oldest in that family.
Are you the oldest of your family? And what's the situation with your family now? Your mother still living, your brother's still around?
Uh, my, my pop passed away in Fishkill in
Or
2015,
in prison? Wow.
and my mom passed away January 11th, 2011.
Okay, okay. How your brothers doing?
They're all right, you know what I'm saying? Two of them has never been in prison, and the other two one been in prison, but he never came back, and the other one is out there struggling, but he's doing good, yeah.
Okay, you have any children yourself? How many kids you got?
I got two kids. I got a son and daughter.
Okay, okay. What's your relationship like with them?
Well, my relationship with my daughter is rocky, you know what I'm saying? Not really solid, you know what I'm saying? It's not established strong, you know? But I got a more strong relationship with my son.
Okay, so I mean you had 2 kids before the age of 16, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I had kids when I was, I had my daughter when I was 15 and my son when I was 16.
Okay, same mother, different mother?
Different mothers.
Okay, okay. And it's safe to say that you're being in prison kind of estranged your relationship with the young lady, with your daughter, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Prison is the one they call, you know, like, it either builds your family tie or destroys your family tie. You know what I'm saying?
okay, okay. Tell me a little bit about that, man. So when you came to prison, did you have a strong support system or
Definitely.
pro-
I had strong support. My mom was my main support in prison. You know what I'm saying? My mom was always there no matter where I was at because I did time in the turnaround home too. You know,
mm-hmm.
I do my travel through there. I was in Gosha, I was in Brookwood, I was in Tryon,
Yeah.
Spofford. I started off in Spofford. Then I went to Children Village. I've been in Pilot
Okay.
12. I've been in Pyramid House. You know, so
Okay.
all those spots prepared me for this type of environment I'm in today. You know what I'm saying?
So so basically you're saying you've had, a pretty tumultuous childhood since birth, in a sense,
Yeah.
from juvenile homes,
Yeah.
Rikers Island, and now this 35-year long prison system. So tell me a little bit about your neighborhood. Like, what kind of people were in your neighborhood, and who influenced you the most?
Well, most people that influenced me was drug dealers, dudes that was in the hustle, that was in the game. You know what I'm saying? Gang. They had a gang around my way called Cato New Chucks, and they had another gang at the time that I used to look up to this one dude named Blue. That's how my name came about. Um, he was there with a gang called the Newcomers.
being around them and your pops being up north, is it safe to say that they replaced his, presence as a figure? Since you were the oldest kid, there was nobody for you to seek besides your mother. So did these individuals provide that, guidance for you?
At some point, yeah, because you always got people that you always got somebody that tries to guide you into a better direction, and you got some people that's always gonna guide you into a negative direction. You know what I'm saying? But I was always involved with the negativity because I wanted to be there. You know what I'm saying? At that time, I wanted to be around certain people, and I got caught up in that lifestyle, being in gangs. You know what I'm saying? I was in a gang when I was younger, and I got caught up in that whole scene of drugs and the drug war and all that stuff. You know,
So, and what's your ethnicity? What are you?
I'm Puerto Rican.
What was the racial makeup of your neighborhood? Because at that time, when you were young, Puerto Ricans were establishing themselves.
Blacks and Puerto Rican.
So that's mainly.
You had a couple of white folks that lived in my building. You know what I'm saying? It was known that they were stand-up people. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's mostly all blacks and Puerto Rican.
Okay. Did you get caught up in the racial conflict between the blacks and Puerto Ricans around that time? And we're talking the 70s, right? 80s?
Yeah, 70s, late 70s, early 80s.
So did you get caught up in that tension between blacks and Puerto Ricans? Did that affect you in any way?
Nah, I have never been on no racial shit. Not then and not now. Never been with that. You know what I'm saying? I grew up with blacks. The mother of my son is black and Italian. You know what I'm saying? The mother of my daughter, she's black and Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I've never been with that racial. Even on Rikers Island, when the racial thing broke out on Rikers Island back in the days when I was there, I took a stand against that. You know what I'm saying? Because I had black co-defendants at the time. You know, even though they turned out to be sour and became rats in my case. But when the riot broke out, I took a stand. You know what I'm saying? Me and my man Bogart, you know what I'm saying? That's Mitchell Harper. Head, Edwin Alicia, these guys, Bush, Devin Hamilton, these guys here, I always ran with them. You know what I'm saying? These guys I was running with at the time. You know what I'm saying? These guys I was involved with in Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? Plus I knew Bogart from back in the days in Gosha. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Go back a long ways. I was
So
never been on the racial thing. You know?
you never had any racial tension. So you having black relationships with females never really affected your mother or your family. They never looked at you kind of different.
Nah, never. That never played no role in my life.
Okay. And so it's safe to say you were brought up in the urban environment, and that's who you look towards for guidance, and that's who you look towards for kind of leadership. Because your mother was where? What did she do for a living?
Well, my mom, she was struggling at the time. You know what I'm saying? But she did time too. You know what I'm saying? She did a little
Oh,
bit. She did a big bit, but she did a little bit in Bedford. You know what I'm saying? But she was always there, no matter what we needed. You know what I'm saying? She tried to provide that as much as possible. You know.
okay.
But
So how did her going to jail affect you? Like who raised you while she was locked up?
my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? My
Okay.
grandmother, was there for me. You know what I'm saying? And she passed away in 1986. You know.
While you were in prison.
Uh,
You were in prison when they passed away,
yeah,
right?
I was in Auburn box at the time when she passed away.
And they didn't did they let you come to the funeral, or because you were in the
Nah,
box they didn't let you come?
they ain't let me go. I never been allowed to go to no funerals. Even when my mom passed away, the superintendent in Southport refused to allow me to go to the funeral. You know.
Wow. Your father neither? No, they didn't even consider your father, I would assume.
Nah, they even when he passed away, they ain't allowed me to go there because they took his body to Pennsylvania. You know, so they didn't allow me to go over there. You know.
That's his. And from the, tell me, just describe the '70s to me. Or what was like? What was the '70s like for Blue Boy, for Lewis? You know, what were some of the things you was getting yourself into?
Well, talking about when I first started all this.
Not just in the '70s, as the teenage Blue Boy. Like, what was a day like for you out there?
Well, you know, I was involved with a lot of things. And I got caught up in, being around gang things, that gang life,
So what
I
do you did
started
for
off,
fun then? What was the '70s like for fun? What's your fondest memories of that time?
well, now, fond memories about all that time going to the movies, going swimming,
The karate flicks. The old, the brothers.
yeah,
I used to love the karate flicks, huh?
yeah, go see karate, come out the karate spot, do, oh, like crazy. Get garbage can, 42nd Street at that time was 42nd Street.
You tell me
That was,
about that.
yeah,
I mean, 42nd Street for me and my guys is Disneyland. You know what I
nah,
mean?
nah, nah.
Yeah.
No, 42nd Street back then was like it was a wild land, you know what I'm saying? It was like Sin City for real, you know what I'm saying? I used to go up there because there used to be a gang up there called the Crazy Bishops. I used to be around them type of guys, you know what I'm saying, back then, you know what I'm saying? And so at that time, they had all the Rated X movies, they had
Oh yeah, the little booth.
yeah, you had the booths to see the girls, you know what I'm saying? You go with this coin, they give you this coin outside, they go inside with the stairs, and you put the coin in the machine, and the moment thing open up, she's sitting right there in front of you doing all that wild stuff.
Well,
You know what
now
I'm
they
saying?
got Donald and Mickey over there now, brother. No more ass and titties.
Yeah, I know.
only Donald and Mickey.
They had a place there called, I forgot the name, Shepherd House. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's still there because it was many years ago. But that used to be like for a shelter, like a shelter for kids. They come, runaway kids and all that.
Yeah, they got the Covenant House now over there.
Yeah, that's it, Covenant House. That's what it is.
Covenant House.
Covenant House. That's it right there.
Okay. You used to be there?
Yeah, I used to go there to pick up girls. They have some bad girls there. They come from out of state,
I think
California,
they still have that. They still have that culture. A lot of young people travel from, out of town and everywhere, all over the world, to come to that one place, man. And
Yeah.
that's so that's always been, I guess, the kind of hub to pick up,
Yeah.
girls.
See, back then they used to have a prostitute. They used to have mad prostitute around that area, right? But they had a prostitute named April, right?
Yeah.
She was a renegade prostitute. What I mean by that, she didn't have no pimp. She was just doing that to support her child. She had a little daughter. She's 21 years old when I was in the street. You know what I'm saying? And I used to always be around her trying to protect her and all that. Because the other prostitutes, like, telling her she can't be on that side of the strip because they have pimps. You know what I'm saying? So it used to be a crazy scene. That whole 42nd Street was crazy back then. They got a book. They got a book with police named Shabazz. He was a photographer. He's a well-known photographer in the hood. I don't know if he's still out there, but he had a book called Back in the Days. That's the name of the book. Got mad photographs of 42nd Street. I'm in that book. He got a picture of me in there.
Oh well.
But they got
I gotta
mad.
get that.
Huh?
But I gotta get that picture, man. Put it on. Attach it to this part. What kind of clothes were you wearing in the '70s before
Man, you got
Blue Ball?
the blue and white Pumas on, the lead man,
The tight shit.
jacket. You know what I'm saying? Big stupid silver medallion chain with the house medallion. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's the fashion. What about the Kangos didn't come out to the '80s for you brothers, huh? All of that
Yeah,
stuff.
Tackle came out of the 80s, yeah. But back then it was the Apple Jacks and the motherfucking, the cats and all that, you know.
That just sounds so unique, man. Little Blue Boy in an Apple Jacket and Pumas, the thick
Yeah, you got,
strings and all that, right?
the British Walkers, the two-tone British Walkers, the Playboys, you know what I'm saying, the Clarks, the Wallabies. Dudes
Oh,
don't know
okay.
Wallabies been out for years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got a pair down, my brother. They're so comfortable, man. They don't ring in the metal
Yeah,
detectors at work, man. Or
that's,
they kind of comfortable, bro. I have to
that's
admit.
what I'm wearing. That's what I got on. I got in my property right now. I got a pair of brown. I used to have some purple ones. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? But time ago.
So this is pre prison Blue Boy we talking. Like this is the young in the streets in Alphabet City you from, right? Considered in a sense, or Lower East Side.
Yeah, Alphabet City,
Considered.
that's the stuff. But like I said, it was a different era back then. You know what I'm saying? That whole, like, when he came to prison, it was prison. You know what I'm saying? Today, this right here, this is the crack era. This, now they
So
got a new thing.
you're talking to me about the '70s. That's before the crack era. So
Yeah, that's
were
before,
you?
back then it was the heroin, you know, the
Okay.
dope and all that. That's when you
So,
go to the bar and they rush your car. you know
so
what I'm saying?
how does that era differ in your opinion from the crack era? Because you were in the streets in the '70s, which
So
was
like,
the hell.
cause even in that era of the heroin, there was more respect for the community. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We still have respect for our people in the neighborhood. Today, when the crack era affected, everybody was smoking crack. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? They had no respect. They didn't care of who you was or not. It was, that crack destroyed many people's lives. You know what I'm saying? It affected so many people in all
Okay.
different kind of ways. You know what I'm saying?
And you
The
were seeing the
heroin,
after effects of it because you were in prison, so you were seeing people come up north,
oh,
reputables,
oh,
addicted to that, right?
that's right. And it was terrible. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
They always say this is saying that it's never good to have money on your heart, but always on your mind. You know what I'm saying? When you have money on your heart and mind, you become greedy. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that crack era was that. A lot of these dudes became real greedy, betrayal.
Mm.
You know, a lot of foul things going on with that crack era. With things that we wouldn't even think about doing in the heroin era. You know what I'm saying? It
Okay.
was
I
different.
mean,
You know?
and that's just something that coming from an individual who's lived through, whether you were in prison or not, you lived through both eras, and you
Yeah.
even in the era that's going on now, and your take on it is a lot of individuals in the crack era, weren't the most loyal. They definitely didn't pride themselves on respect and community, integration. Everything was related to just their flashiness and
Yeah.
clothes, cars, right? In your opinion,
Yeah. My
if
opinion,
that's
that's
how
right.
you feel. Okay.
Yeah. And see,
Okay.
back then, dudes used to, you know, they used to dress up. You know what I'm saying? To go to like different places. Like, you had Barnes International, you had the Fun House, you had, you know what I'm saying? You had Pro 96, you had the Roseland, you had the motherfucking Paradise City. You had different places where dudes would show up. But when that crack ever came, that
It
shit
brought
became crazy. You know what I'm saying?
it brought a different element to the
Yeah.
community, man. That's,
That crack tore a lot of people up. You know
I
what I'm saying?
mean, it definitely was and still is, responsible for the attempted genocide on the black and Puerto Rican, race. It definitely was, man. Like it took large numbers of individuals, mothers, fathers, daughters, incarcerated men,
That's
addicted to
right.
women. It was a rough time, bro.
Yeah.
You're right.
It was
I mean,
sad, man, to
so
see that. You know what I'm saying?
so
So many young brothers come to prison for that crack shit.
and so was your case related to crack or any drugs, or was something
My case
different?
related to drugs in the street. You know what I'm saying? I was selling drugs, but I was sticking up dudes. You know what I'm saying? Which you
Okay.
don't do. You know what I'm saying? That was like a no-no. Dudes were trying to keep you away from that. But I was doing both things. I was selling drugs for one person. Then I got in trouble over there. And then I go somewhere else. So then, but like that was all part of me, my growth. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me who I am today. You know what I'm saying? Even then, I had old timers trying to tell me good things, but I never took heed until it was too late. I came to prison. And even in prison, I always had good people trying to tell me, yo, Blue, this is how you do this is how you do that. But, like I said, you got to live life to really understand life. You know what I'm saying? You got to sometimes go your own road to really understand the road that you in. You know what I'm saying? It just, I've been through a lot in my prison time. You know what I'm saying? I went through a lot, been stabbed, been cut. You know what I'm saying? But I created a lot of that stuff. You know what I'm back then. You know, because when I was on Rikers Island, I was robbing dudes for their jewelry. You know what I'm saying? I even took dudes gold teeth a couple times. You know what I'm saying? So I was in that life. You know what I'm saying? Because I was facing lifetime in prison. So if at that time, if you wasn't somebody that's gonna fight for your shit, you was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? And that stage had to be set. Even when I came to jail, dude tried to take my sneakers. You know, said this kid named Nalo, and motherfucker, he from Queens, and a kid named Big G. They were trying to take my Pumas. I had green and white Pumas, and red and white Pumas, and some blue and white Pumas, and they wanted to take my sneakers. You know what I'm saying? They were standing in front of myself, smoking weed, talking shit about my sneakers, and they said, yo, when we come out for the day one tonight, bring them shits out. You know what I'm saying? So right then and there, you know, that was the beginning of my, I had to do something, you know what I'm saying? That started
So
right there from there on.
that influence to the
Yeah.
Blue Boy we know today, which in the next segment we'll definitely start discussing who Blue Boy is. Right now it's just a conversation of demographics, who you are, where you came from, because there's a humble side to everybody. You know,
Yeah.
everybody is just not this aggressive, you know,
I'm telling you, like,
individual.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying because you know your reputation, especially just the name Blue Boy, is definitely, you know, attached to a lot of different, you know, aspects and emotions. Some may hate you, some may love you. Some, like I told you before we even started this, they make their own, you know, assumptions of you. Like before we had a chance to build, you know, I was telling, you know, I mean, my old dad, like, listen, man, you know, I'm part of a culture, and my culture has this to say about Blue Boy, you know, and I told you about what my older homeboys told me about Blue Boy. So now, you know, I'm sitting down and speaking to Blue Boy. Now, some of those things are true. You are an aggressive brother, and that's just a, you know, that's a funny and understanding. But you are a humanistic person. You have a, I mean, you are. Everybody has a story, and you know, and you have a side to you that, you know, it is what it is, man. This is the life you chose, and you embrace it, you know, respectfully,
But
man.
I'm going to tell you something. It might sound crazy, right? But I always try to balance my good with my bad. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's, I
I always
mean,
try to do that. Because
it,
some dudes like, okay, dude coming here today. See, when I came to prison, a dude come, you give him slippers, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, deodorant, you know, whatever things he may not have at that moment. They don't do that today. You know what I'm saying?
right,
So,
they don't give care packages like that, huh?
you know, dudes, like, I still have that kind of trays. Like, I don't flush the toilet for certain night, after a certain night, unless I have to use number two. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm going, I don't talk after 11 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? There's still traces to that. What I got when I was brought into prison. You know what I'm saying? When I came to prison, I've been around old timers and, you know, things like that. But even
So,
with the street, I always try to balance my good with my bad. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, you know?
so you still, so you're saying that these practices that you were taught came from, you know, individuals from like the 80s, 90s era, or whatever was these brothers
Yeah,
from?
mostly from the 80s era. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the guys that I know, you might have heard. You know some of them or you heard of them. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't even realize, they don't even never heard about these guys because there's a new era. A lot of people don't care about that old era. Like when I came to jail, just to touch on certain things. When I first came, you know, dudes remember Attica riot. Dudes used to fast for Attica riot. You know what I'm saying? Today, that's like, what? That's that old shit. We're not with that no more. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Mm,
like,
that's
things like that.
solidarity.
Yeah, when I was in certain places, when I was in the box, just say, for example, you had dudes like Skip, K.O. Smitty, Farmer. These are guys that was like, if you came to the box, they had study time. You got dudes, you might have one dude teaching about the law. You got one dude teaching about how to get over tickets. You had another dude teaching about history. And we had current events. We should listen to the news and deal with current events, what's going on. Dudes get the newspapers. We had discussion on that. And then At nighttime we should work out, or in the morning we work out. Everybody work out. You know what I'm saying? It was
You
over.
have 1 minute left.
Which one do you want me to call you back?
Oh yeah, call me 12 if you can. What time you guys call me back?
All right. We ain't gonna be able to come out. We come out at 2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock is fine, man. Then we'll get into the next segment of who Blue Boy really is.
All
Who
right.
we see Blue Boy is.
All right. So
But
I'll
this
call
was a
you back
good
at
one, my brother. All right,
I'll call you back at 2 o'clock.
all right, my brother. Peace.
All right. Please take care of yourself.
All right.